What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another one of my videos. As always, thank you all so much for tuning in, for subscribing and liking my video. It is highly appreciated. Let's jump right into today's topic. Alright, so today I kind of wanted to go over some reasons, my top 5 reasons as to why you should not follow any trend currently in the fashion industry or anything that's sort of like fashion related when it comes to trends. And without further ado, we're gonna jump right into it with the first reason. Alright, so the first reason on why you shouldn't follow trend has to do with the fact that trend can't buy you style. Now, what I mean by this is that a lot of the times when it comes to trends is that you only look cool or well put together for that specific time that the trend is hot. Now, what tends to happen over time is that, once that trend is done, you have to kind of result into going back into your old style. Now, if you haven't found out yet, what will tend to happen is that you won't have anything to fall back onto because you don't have that personal style developed yet. So what I really mean by trend cannot buy style is that in the long run, style is something that's very unique, that's very authentic, and that's very personal. So just investing into a trend or buying a trend thinking that will elevate your style, most of the time it actually won't. It won't even, I think that like specifically in my personal opinion, it will elevate your style for that time that the trend is hot. But then right after that, when you, again, like I said, when you have to result into going back into your personal style, you will really see the difference between the people that are actually, let's say, investing into a trend or buying a trend and it still looks good on them because they've managed to develop their own personal style, and the ones that are just kind of buying a trend because that's currently what's hot right now. Following a trend or buying into a trend won't necessarily elevate your long-term style and your sort of like your personal growth in terms of like your style and what you're really into. What it would do though is that it will elevate your look for that short period that something is hot, because everyone is gonna sort of like, let's say, like your picture or compliment you on that specific pair of shoe or jacket that you're wearing because it's sort of the current trend right now. But once that's done and you have to resort back into your personal style, that might not be the case, So I really feel that style has to be pushed in the forefront before any trends. So that's my first point. Trend can't buy you style, but it can definitely make you look cool or stylish for that particular time that the trend is hot, and that will probably be it. Now, the second thing is trend doesn't last. Now, so the issue with sort of following a trend or dressing to fit in is that, like I said, it doesn't last, and quite frankly, you won't actually stand out. What will happen is that you will look like everyone else, and that's one of the things that I've noticed with current trends today is that a lot of the times we're on it and we all love it and we're all sort of like indulging into it. And I think that like to a certain extent I have also personally been a victim of this, where a trend comes into play and you really think that this is it, I'm gonna be wearing this for the next 5, 6, 10 years. What's happening is that you're seeing everyone with it and you're also sort of like indulging into it, and you kind of think that, hey, I'm gonna invest into this piece, or I'm gonna buy this super cool pair of shoes or pair of derbies, and potentially I'll be wearing it for the next couple of years. But that's not actually what happens. What tends to happen is that the minute that you stop seeing all those pictures on Instagram or all those YouTube videos or all those like sort of like some of your favorite influencers stop wearing them, you won't be interested in it as much, So the trend that you get into, and the reason why you really should be careful when sort of indulging into a specific trend, is that it doesn't last. A lot of the times you actually end up just having that particular pair of shoe sitting in your room, or you try to resell it. Now, one of the good things is that like you can still get a bit of your money back if you do resell it. Not always, and it also depends on the specific item. Like for example, I know that if today you're reselling a track runner or a triple S, yes, you will get a bit of your money back. You know, like people have somewhat moved on from the triple S's and the track runners. And again, if you think back to 2015 and 16 when they were really, really hot, you thought that these were gonna be the shoe for the next 10 years. You know, I know a lot of brands have sort of, you know, developed that sort of chunkiness with all of their shoe designs. So it does make sense that Balenciaga did start something. But at the end of the day, it was just a trend. You know, it's not a long-term sort of investment. You know, it's not something that's going to last your lifetime. And actually, quite frankly, some of the people in my life that I know that own either a track runner or a triple S, you know, they hate them now. You know, it's kind of like, oh, I'm so over them, I can't even tell you. But yet they have all the 6, 7 colors. Now, what do you do with all that, you know, all those shoes that you now have? You can't sell all of them, or at least you can try, but most of the time you won't even make a lot of your money back, you know? So that's the thing with the trend, is that it doesn't last, and a lot of the times it's actually a short-term sort of gratification. As soon as people are over it, you will also be over it. So let's move into the third point. Third reason as to why you should not follow a trend is that fashion moves fast. Now, what I mean by this is that every season there's something new, and a lot of things are happening in the fashion world, and it's moving fairly quickly with so many collections every year and so many, like, you know, pre-fall, into the fall, into the winter, into the spring. There is no time for us to hold on to anything anymore. And actually what tends to happen with sort of like, the reason why I say fashion moves fast and therefore you should really be careful when sort of indulging into a trend, is that a lot of the times it actually ends up hindering someone's style growth, you know, because a lot of the times with style, it's like you have to be patient and you have to sort of give yourself time to evolve and to grow within your own individual style through like sort of gathering inspiration, gathering, you know, certain things that you feel like would look good on you. But what tends to happen, because fashion is moving so fast, is that you just want to jump onto the hype, which is fair. Like, I think all of us have been guilty of this, where we kind of want to indulge into the latest pair of sneakers, the latest pair of derbies, the latest pair of boots. And a lot of the times what tends to happen is that you don't actually give yourself time for your style to grow, because you're so indulged into the fashion world, into what's going on, that you feel in order to fit in, you need to be wearing what everyone else is wearing. And that's actually not the right way, at least in my personal opinion, to go on about style. I think style is something that takes time. It evolves over time, and you change and you grow and you switch things up, and it's more fun that way. But I think because of fashion and how fast it's moving and how they're consistently pumping us with so many collections, it makes us feel like if we're not following the trend, then we must be falling short. And that's the problem with following too many trends, is that you consistently are doubting yourself. Am I doing this right? Am I not? Why? You know, maybe I should dress like everyone else. Maybe I should have the latest pair of sneakers. And that is not the right way to go about it, at least in my personal opinion. So that's the third reason. Fashion moves fast, so be careful when sort of indulging into trends. So the fourth point, which I think that I am also as guilty as much as you guys probably are as well, is that trends lead into overconsumption. Now, I kind of wrote it down on my notes, and this is what I say. A trend pushes us into more shopping, more consumption, and a consistent high. So at the end, we're actually not earning anything other than a quick hit, and soon we'll be looking for the next one. As I mentioned in my previous point, fashion moves fast, and this leads us to consume. And with all of us being on platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, we're consistently made to feel like we need this specific piece, not realizing that the person you saw wearing it either got it gifted, or this is part of their job and they're making most of their money spent back. And really, that's all that it comes down to. A trend is, you know, when a trend is being pushed and when a lot of people are wearing it, what we don't realize is that most influencers and most people that are potentially like sort of wearing that specific trend and getting like 10, 20,000 likes those people are actually either were gifted the specific pair, or they did a collaboration and they got it for free, or they're making most of their money back by sort of like getting people to buy that specific pair through their link. So what you have to realize is that a lot of the times these trends, for the ones that go and get, like, let's say 5-6 colors of this particular trend, or that are some of the first ones to have it, a lot of the times this is actually part of their work, so you have to really be careful to not overconsume when it comes to trends. It's this consistent high that we're feeling every time that a new collection is released, because there are so many things that they know what to do to get us to shop more and to just sort of consume more of this sort of fashion. So we really do have to be careful into am I investing for long-term purposes when it comes to my wardrobe, or is this just a short-term fix? So the final point that I have for you guys is the lack of authenticity when it comes to the 5 reasons as to why you should not follow trends. I think that there are people out there that can still pull off any trend that is out there, and they can do it extremely well and make it look like themselves and make it look very unique and different in terms of how they style it. Now, one of the things that I've personally noticed is that the ones that actually do tend to indulge into a trend, or do such a good job of styling it, and a lot of the times they've actually figured out sort of like their personal style and what works for them, and they want to always invest or jump onto each and every single trend. What they would do is you see them sort of getting into a specific trend just because they really generally do like it, and a lot of the times they will actually style it quite differently from everything else that you see. So I think that it's extremely important to sort of stay authentic and sort of develop your style. And I think that that's the fun thing when it comes to style, is that it's a process, it's a journey, and it's forever evolving and changing. And yeah, so that's what I have to say for the 5 reasons as to why you should not follow trends. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Leave a comment and let me know. Let's have a discussion. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you're enjoying this content. And you can follow me on my Instagram at GREGNTORE for those of you that don't. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.